Hello and welcome back to Organic Cardboard. My name is Owen Kneep, and today we've got the second box of Primal in. So I have had this for like a week now. I've been pretty busy the past week, and I've been playing the core box of Primal. If you saw the part A to this, I guess this is box, I don't know if they call it box B. It just says 03 on the box, where the first one had A on it. But if you've seen the other unboxing video I did, that had just the core box in it, gave me plenty to kind of play with. I have been playing the game, been really enjoying it so far, and I have been really itching to get this box open, but I really wanted to do it on camera. So I don't think I'm really going to take too much extra time, other than to just go ahead and start opening it at this point. And I'm going to babble on while I do this, but let's go ahead and get this centered up here and start cracking it open. So, man, yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting a review out soon. I almost did a first impressions video of this already, but I figured I'd wait just a little bit longer to see how the game's going to play with some other people. I haven't actually gotten to play it with anybody else yet, but man, I've really been enjoying it as a solo game so far. So I'm again looking forward to that. And this is going to have all of the expansion content in it here. So this box, the shipping label on it anyway said that it was 19 pounds. And the other box was like 21 pounds. So that's kind of what we're looking at as far as weight of extra content. There should be probably about 4 boxes in here, I believe. Maybe there'll be more than that. Decent enough shipping so far, from what I've seen. It hasn't, at least I'm fortunate enough that I haven't had any big damages or anything like that. They've got little styrofoam corners that they're using, and so we're just going to I'm going to pull out each one of these little boxes here, and then we'll kind of lay them all out. I'm just going to get the big cardboard box out of the way. There's nothing else in there though beyond that. Let's go ahead and plop this down. All right, so we do have 6 boxes, so a little more than I actually realized. So we have the Nightmare expansion, the Mount Havoc expansion, the Terrain box, the Feather expansion, Ice expansion, and Venom expansion. The Nightmare one, I tell you what, we'll maybe get it where I can just show it on the top cam too. This is the Nightmare one. So this has got the looks like the Anjanath kind of character, again, because we're always comparing this to Monster Hunter. This is kind of your T-Rex looking fella, and then I believe this has maybe a couple different monsters in each one of these expansion boxes. Just a little extra content, but nothing too much being shown directly from the outside of the box, though. It's not really showing you what exactly is inside of it, other than just some volcano artwork, probably from that Voltyar volcano that they tend to reference. So this is the 5th player expansion, this Mount Havoc expansion. So this is a little hefty. This is probably going to have all of the cards that would otherwise let like the repeats and stuff, to allow you to have that 5th player. So it's I would imagine this has got a decent amount of extra stuff in it. Terrain box, that's going to have all the terrain, 3D versions of all the terrain. So these will look really nice if I end up getting them painted. We'll see if I end up getting to that point. But this game, I will say, it has kind of gotten me excited enough to possibly start attempting to paint this as well. I never got all the way through Oathsworn painting that, and even though it was really cool, the little bit that I did paint, I did really enjoy. Man, I tend to be a little bit of a perfectionist with painting, and so it can be a little difficult for me to actually get through stuff because I have to spend so much time on it before I feel like I'm done and ready to be done with it. This is the feather expansion, so then we've got a couple extra characters in here as well. There is another Monster Hunter character that is very reminiscent of this guy's. This the little bubbly dragon thing from. I think it was on Monster Hunter Rise that I remember seeing that one, but it was kind of a similar little colorful character that blows bubbles. This one's probably not blowing bubbles, but does look like they're taking a little bit of. I guess there's only so many different ways you can make a serpent and a lizard or a dragon and turn into some kind of monster. So I guess they're gonna not be able to help having some of them come out to look the same way. And then you got the back of it here with this kind of. It almost looks like a what do you call those plague doctor masks or something that's on her nose there. The ice expansion. So obviously just each one of these are adding elements as well. So you've got like new elemental weapons, armor, and things like that you're going to pick up that are going to go along with it. So obviously ice versions of the armor and here, and then feather. I don't know with the nightmare one. I don't know if there's actually like a different type that goes along with that one. There's an element of metal in the game, and I don't know if that was already included in the core box or not. I can't remember. So maybe that's part of that. I'm not sure. But I know we got ice with the ice, and then you got poison venom with the Venom expansion here. And some nasty looking dudes here that are going to come in. I kind of wish they had a little bit more artwork on here to show what's actually in these boxes, because if you go to buy these online, I guess you're just kind of at the whim of the description out elsewhere. But it's kind of nice if you flip the back of the box and you can see what's actually in it. So there's really no information. I don't know if these boxes maybe are different than what the retail is going to be. So maybe once they get to retail, they will have a little bit more. Maybe they're expecting people to not be needing that from this Kickstarter backing. I'm actually in the process of condensing everything down into the core box, which is quite a feat. I found somebody on Cults 3D that had a 3D insert that was really well done for the most part, and so I printed that all out, and I'm looking forward to kind of filling it up and seeing how well everything fits at that point. I will have to use one of these expansion boxes, I know, to hold some of the extra cards though, so we'll just see how that plays out. I'm actually hopefully I can do a little video too to show how you can get this all in one box, because this is a ton of content. Before I start actually opening these boxes up, maybe I'll pull out the big box and we can kind of just get an idea for all of the content that is in this whole experience here, because it's quite a bit. So now I've got it sitting over here. Reach over and see if I can pick it up without hurting my back. Oh, okay. So we got the big box and all of these boxes. I mean, it's quite a bit, quite a bit over here. So ideally, I can get rid of all these or most all of these, get them all into this box. The only reason why I'll need to hold on to one of these is because I'm going to be sleeving the cards that need to be shuffled, and it's just going to be too hard, I guess, to get that to fit in here, at least with the person's insert that I found so far. Maybe somebody else will end up making one on down the road that I'll change it out for. But it's a good part of having a 3D printer in this hobby, is that you can print this stuff out and keep your games organized the way you want to. So I'm going to set that back off to the side. And we're just going to start going one at a time through each of these and see where we're at. So I think maybe I'll start with the most basic ones first. Go with a train box, and then we'll go with the 5th player expansion, and then I'll get into the more interesting ones as we go, so the video doesn't kind of die down on interest. All right. So the people that backed this game a little bit more, further than I did, they got the card box as well. And from what I've seen, it doesn't actually hold everything that it's supposed to. It's kind of a bummer. It seems like with the sleeves, if you've sleeved everything in that game, maybe if you don't use their premium sleeves, you would be able to fit everything better. But as far as I'm aware, that was kind of a bung purchase. You're still going to have this extra box regardless. I'll actually have things a little bit more condensed down than you would normally if you were to have gotten the core box, fit everything in there, and then also had to use the terrain box to hold everything sleeved. Again, I'm not sleeving the square cards, because they're kind of odd sized and they're going to take up too much room if I do. There's a lot of shuffling in the game, so the cards that need to be shuffled, I want to have those sleeved. I think we already kind of saw the back of this. I'm going to pull this down because this box is really big. Let's get this where we'll be able to see things a little closer here. Okay. So we've got 4 of the brush terrain, 6 rock terrain, 2 plateau terrain, 2 Bathanas terrain, 2 Syracuse, 2 Scenarii, 2 wild maw terrains. So those are all the different plants that you interact with that you use to make your potions, and otherwise, like some of the plants will, like I know one of them will like give you an extra attack if you're in that space with it whenever you're going to make an attack. A little difficult to get these boxes open. Very snug. Okay, there we go. Here's all that gray plastic. Okay, and if this is anything like the other ones, there's a decent amount of tape on them. All right. So nothing too fancy here. We've got, let me move this out of the way. Yeah, so we've got a rock, and this is what you'd be using to help block like attrition damage that you would get every time you finish a player turn. You have to go through this attrition step where you have to deal with extra damage. This is just a bush. You'll use bushes. What do you use bushes for? I can't remember because I feel like the bushes always get burnt really quick. For some reason these get burnt but the other plants don't. At least that's my understanding of the rules so far. In the very first quest, you have this character that the 5 racks, and he's really flame oriented, and so these bushes just don't even get used. I think they do something to help you, like maybe mitigate attrition damage somehow, or oh no, I remember now. It's this kind of complicated process of like you can break your player's turn up. So like midway during the turn, you can stop and you can have the other person go. So there's a very tactical way to play with the bushes. You'll pause your turn. You'll have one of the other characters go. Everybody else goes in the round. And if you have because you can have like up to 4 characters, and then you end up coming back to that player's turn before the end of the round. So it's a little strange. I'm not sure exactly how that works as far as like the strategy of the game goes. This one, what is this one? This is the Syracuse train. I keep calling them trains because it says on the box, but it's the plant. Yeah, so these are pretty neatly detailed. I do like these. I think these are going to look really nice, especially if I do get around to painting them. The ones on the game normally are just these little flat pieces of cardboard, and so they really don't have a whole lot of presence to them. This one is the Scenarii. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say these words. This one may be the one that, I don't think this is the one that heals you. I think the Bathanas. Oh, I'm sorry. This is the Bathanas. Yeah, I was going to say it does look like it. This is the one that is for healing. So, you know, it looks like a bunch of mushrooms kind of growing up into themselves a little bit. This is the Wild Maw. And this one, I believe, is the one for attack. I could be wrong on that. I haven't got these guys memorized. I usually have to keep flipping back and forth in the book still to remember what they are. Pretty neat. Kind of looks like a little teethy thing. I'm pretty sure this one looks attacking. So, I mean, it looks like it's aggressive. So I think this may be the one that was for attacking. And then I'm not sure if I have even interacted with this other one. This is the Cinerea. I don't know. Is that how you say it? Yeah, that's probably how you say it, Cinerea. That almost sounds like a genus, species name or something that they're going with. But pretty cool. I mean, I definitely like these. I like the way they stand out. And again, another big plus over Monster Hunter World, because they actually added interactive plants where they didn't have that in Monster Hunter World. They really kind of whiffed it on a lot of the you know, bringing that video game experience to that board game. This is like a, I guess what do they call it? Do they call this a plateau? I believe on these you can actually jump off. So they've got a spot for your character to kind of stand on these, and then you can jump off of it. And there's this whole mechanic of like jumping onto the monster and like causing them to have trouble with one of their behaviors. So that's pretty neat. I haven't got to do that yet. I haven't run into that particular terrain. I've only fought a couple of the monsters so far. I fought the beginning one like twice. Just immediately, as soon as I finished it once, I went and played it again, because there were some little rules and stuff I missed the first time anyways, but it was so much fun playing it the first time. I was like, let's just do that immediately over again. And then I played one of the other characters after that. All right, so let's move on to the next box, the 5th player expansion here. Let's see, I did miss one of those pieces. I'll put that up later. Okay. So, I don't know if I'll ever get, or I mean, I guess it's one of those FOMO things of you kind of want to get it all while it's there. I don't know if I'll ever get around to playing this with 5 people, maybe. But the other big thing is that not only are you getting a 5th player, but you're getting additional characters to use, like classes. So you've got the, well, I guess maybe this is only just the one. I don't know. I'm trying to remember how many actual classes. But this is like the bow gun, the big heavy bow gun. And these boxes are they're not super easy to open. I'll go ahead and say that right now. A little tall and a little tight. It says, I am falling into the inky obscurity that unites everything and devours everything. Ooh, ominous. So this does have the dual blade in here as well. So you got the dual blade and then the heavy gun. I guess they don't want to call it a bow gun, even though it has the bow on it. And it's obviously the bow gun for Monster Hunter World. But yeah, so pretty neat. And then of course on the back of these two, you got the little rundown of the characters as well. Hellerin is the name of the gunner girl. She looks really cool. She's kind of got, you know, braided hair and a big old monster paw on the on her shoulder pauldron there. And then Kara kind of looks like, you know, one of the Mortal Kombat characters or something, with her ninja kind of covering mask. And then she's got her big moon blades that she's using to attack with. So she's the dual blade character. All right, dual blades, not dual swords, just to be distinct. So I'm not going to get all these punched out, but these are the cardboard pieces here. We've got, it looks like they did maybe additional forges to include I wonder if the core box didn't include these in there, the extra weapons. I feel like they would have, but maybe these go along with the base forge. I'm not sure. I can't remember. I don't remember if I saw those on there or not. I don't know why they wouldn't just print them all on one, but they do. I know they do definitely include them on these. So I'm not going to get these opened up. There's no real. I don't think there's really any need for that. They do have the other types of forges in there as well, like the ice forge, the stuff that's coming from the expansion. But they did not. They did not put those in the core box. So we've got a couple miniatures. I'll pull those out. We'll look at some of this card artwork. And there's really not nearly so many cards as I thought that they would put in here. I thought that they would have a lot of duplicates, but I guess there's maybe not that many that they have to do that for. They've got the base armor here as well. So let's set those aside. I'm going to pull this down just a little further so we can see some of this card art a little better. Okay. So first let's look at those minis. So this is our gunner. The heavy gun. Big Gatling gun looking thing. Pretty cool. I actually really want to play with this one now just because of this mini and the artwork. I really like the artwork for that character. And then here's our dual blades. So she's kind of got these little half moon almost looking blades. She kind of looks a little bit like Illidan from like Warcraft 3 or World of Warcraft, if that's where you know Illidan from. I never really was a World of Warcraft person, but not for long anyways. I think I played it for about a month. It's hard for me to want to play a video game longer than a month, even when I really like it, except for Monster Hunter. It's my favorite video game. That's why I originally backed it. It's why I wanted to get this game, was because I love the Monster Hunter IP so much. But I am not super confident at this point in Steamforged Games' ability to create real serious board game experiences other than just kind of selling out on IP. That said, Monster Hunter World was fun, so I'll leave it at that. I won't keep going on about that, but there were issues, and I feel much more confident with these guys at Reggie Games so far with what I've seen. And you don't need that much board game space being taken up because it takes up a lot. Both of these games take up a lot of space. So here's some of our some of the different weapons that show up. I'm just going to kind of quickly flip through. These are all the different dual swords. And when we get a little further back, we start seeing some of the guns. The Ocean Gun Level 3 looks really cool. Let's go to the base gun. There's the base bow gun. It almost looks like a shotgun, but like a Gatling gun version of like a sawed-off shotgun with a weird handle on it. The mother gun. Those look really cool. I like everything I'm seeing about the artwork for the gunner. It really looks neat. You got the celestial stuff in the back. You got little player references as well that give you all the little words and stuff, keywords that crop up commonly for your character. All right. We'll go ahead and flip through a little bit. Now these are the cards that would be sleeved. All the standard cards and any like mini cards, which we didn't get any mini cards in this pack anyways. There's just the standards, the 60 by 60 cards, and those tarot size cards. There probably will be some more minis in some of the different monster expansions. So these are just those different attacks. There's not really much to see here. We're not going to look at all the words. I just wanted to kind of flip through just to see what was in there. There's wounds. Looks like there's some extra different effects that can happen to you that refer probably to some of these expansions. Venom, paralyzing spore, and bleeding. Looks like we have Not really sure what this is about, but it's got some of the monsters' names on some of these cards. So I don't know exactly what they're trying to do there. It might have something to do about a special effect that one of these characters is able to do, or has something to do with some of the other expansion content. Let's see. I'll try my best to kind of keep this somewhat tidy today because there's so much to have to get through. That's the one fella commented on the first unboxing video. He said the first beast is the box, and it's not too much of an exaggeration there. So I am seeing some repeats of stuff that comes in the original set. So you do have at least one set of the armor to add for a 5th character, where you had 4 sets of them in the other one. And kind of flipping through, I'm still seeing a lot of just the same stuff. So I wonder if they're putting 5 copies in each of the other expansions. They probably are doing that. So these are all just repeats of so these are all of the repeats then of the square cards that come in the core box. Let's see. Put that in there. Put you in there, maybe. You in there, maybe. And we'll get you guys back where you went. Sorta, kinda, maybe. All right, cool. We can close a box. I guess we'll flip a little bit on the rule book here too. I'm not gonna even zoom it out. I don't think there's probably gonna be too much to see in here, but just a little bit of the new rules, some keywords, hunter deck list. Let's see. Yeah. Campaign structure, just anything that might revolve around these. It looks like there's actual chapters that go along with these guys, so that's cool. So we'll just maybe flip on the artwork here. I'm not going to try to read anything. Maybe it's like an introduction for these characters coming into the game. But those also come in with, like, you know, because you do go through chapter 1, chapter 2 as you're playing the game. So these are like different ones. So I wonder how that works if you're supposed to just start with a totally different chapter set to begin with. There's only a few chapters in here, and then it's got a few of the specific setups for some of these, some of the common monsters there from the first book. So yeah, it'll be interesting to get through all of that. Okay, so let's go ahead and close the lid on that one. So we've got 2 of the 6 boxes down. All right, so now we'll start actually getting into some of the cooler looking stuff here with some of the new monsters and some of the new expansions as well. So let's pull this back out for a moment. Okay. And we're going to open up the Nightmare expansion first here. Man, they really did a good job with this game, though. I wasn't sure. I think I'm kind of like stuck on the IP of Monster Hunter, but the artwork is it's really nice in this game. It's super clean. I love the white all around these two. It really makes these characters just kind of pop out. So we've got our rule book here. Kind of flip through that just a little bit. There's not too much that you're going to be able to see in these rule books that are going to be really helpful. It does show the new characters, though, so there are actually at least 3 different ones in here. And we will see that more directly in a moment. There's a campaign book to give you actual campaign, the quest numbers and things like that. Yeah. Our artwork. We got the Tarasca, this big turtle that we're going to see, the Zeketh. Looks like there's two. There's a Zeketh and a Zekalith. These are kind of alien-esque characters here. And I wonder if they have. They probably have the same sculpt for both of them. And then this is the Zithros. Yeah, I guess that's maybe how you say that. X in the front. Xitharos or Zithros. All right. There's a few different chits. Then we've got a bunch of cards. We've got some little small packs of cards, and then we have the miniatures themselves here. So let's crack open the miniatures first. And make it easy by just cutting this tape, because I'm not even going to be using these at the end. I have my own inserts that are holding all of these. So we do have just one for that Zekalith and Zeketh or whatever they're called. These are kind of stuck down in there. Okay. All right, so let's look at the Zeketh first here. So, pretty alien-esque, cool looking. Got the nice rocky base, a little bit of like a kind of a feathered up tail a little bit here. Pretty gnarly. Looks like some alien bunny. You got like these big bunny ears. Alien bunny dog. Okay, we'll go ahead and get this big snappy turtle out. So this looks like a big snapping turtle with spikes. Definitely has the snapping turtle kind of head. I guess this is nightmarish. I don't know. That other one's a little more nightmarish than this one is. This one just looks like I guess if you're afraid of turtles. He's got the really cool looking though, big Bowser character. We will call you Bowser. All right, and then here's our T-Rex, Zithros, I believe that's what they called it. Yeah, pretty standard, just a very Anjanath-esque from Monster Hunter. You got the kind of feathery head and stuff too, so sort of copying. It's almost like they got to have one to represent all those different characters. I'm gonna pop those back in real quick before I forget what order they were in. Oh, I'm probably not going to be able to get those back in the box because I'm going to have them twisted all the wrong direction. Maybe. Hey. Oh, just almost. Okay. Maybe those are not going to go back in the box. All right, let's flip through. You know, I'm going to very quickly look at some of these cards because they're going to, a lot of this stuff, like you've already kind of seen the artwork that's on those bigger sleeves. They repeat that on the stance cards here. And then a lot of this is just going to be attack. This is all just like behavior cards. So they got the head of the character that you're fighting on the back. And then, I mean, if we did a deep dive on this, it would take forever, but there's some interesting stuff that talks about like what these guys do, how they fight. So those are all of their stance or their behavior cards then. All right. And I'm just going to peek just to see, because I'm kind of just wanting to see if there's anything beyond the obvious. what these cards look like. They look like they're just going to be a bunch of these text cards here. Okay, so this, well, that's interesting. I wonder if you can fight multiple, that'd be strange. I wonder if there's multiple monsters, because these have other expansion monsters in here. You got the ones from the poison ones. I wonder if there's stuff that this adds into. I don't know what it would be adding into it. That's strange. Yeah, not sure where we're at with all that. We'll have to save that for later. So I guess there was a little bit of interesting stuff in there. So yeah, those are kind of like, look similar to what the cards I would expect to find in those expansion boxes for the Venom and the Feather expansions and the Ice expansions. So these are just Zithros behaviors. See, this is the Karja behavior. So yeah, it's adding like extra stuff for the other monsters, Digarax. Yeah, a bunch of the Oroxen. So it looks like it's got stuff for all of the core monsters in here as well. So I wonder if it's like some kind of enraged characters or something, maybe, or kind of my speculations. I like to speculate on these games and then see how it lines up later on. See if I'm right or not. You know, if you turn around, I bet you'll fit. Did I make that work? Or did I just make it worse? I'm being super OCD right now about wanting to get those back in there. I feel like I can see how it's supposed to go back in there, but it won't do it. Unless that's supposed to go over there. Perhaps. That's how it is. I have to look at these a little harder next time when I open them up. All right, there's a few other little card packs here. So this is just going to be some of the quest cards, and then it looks like there's actually some primordial blood. Yeah, I wonder what that is. There's quite a few of those. There's a few attrition cards for one of the characters, and then just some quest cards. And these are just a few of the special quest rewards, probably. So I don't know. Maybe this is a little bit spoilery, but I don't think we'll really know exactly what those are for. I'm not really reading them. Just like some special. I think they're just a few extra items. There's not a ton of kind of hidden reward items in the game, at least from what I've seen so far. Okay. Well, I think that is everything for the Nightmare expansion. Not going to worry about this going on too perfectly here. Just more or less want to be able to set it off without it falling apart on me. Okay, next we'll do the Feather expansion. I wish I could remember some of these monsters' names on here, because this is definitely very, very reminiscent of one that you fight on. Again, I think it was Rise. I think it was Monster Hunter Rise. It was the bubbly one, whatever that one was, the one that makes all the bubbles. Really colorful. And one of the kind of early monsters that you fight. It's like, I'm going to get really good at opening these right when we get finished. That's how this always is. You always get really good at the complicated stuff right when you're done having to futz with it. It's cool that all these have like their own little words in here. I kind of like this, just like this little saying. So this one says, "An unnatural darkness grips this place, and all I have to lead my way is the light from my lantern." I guess. You know, the Monster Hunter world was never too big on the... I'll just leave that. Wasn't ever too big on the, you know, kind of world, or the flavor building, I guess, or whatever you want, flavor text and things like that. Like the story on Monster Hunter World was not a one that people, you know, you didn't play it for the story, you just played it to go bash monsters. So there are two really pretty monsters that show up in this game, or in this expansion. And that's the Pazis and the Nagarjas. So being the feather expansion, they made them kind of, you know, vibrant, like some kind of male birds. A little bit of a campaign booklet here as well. Let's see. Yeah, nothing more than what you'd kind of expect. Again, seeing some of the... so they must have like special quests, again, that show up in these expansions that revisit some of the original monsters. I saw... what's that guy's name? Jack Ross or something like that. Well, I don't want to read... Yeah, the Jacoros. So the Jacoros is showing up in there again. I think that's the only other one though I saw from the core game. We've got the feather forges here. Level 1, level 2, level 3. We've got our boards for the two monsters here as well. Very pretty artwork. Evocative again of some kind of birds. These kind of look like they've got special bushes that are in here. They're like red bushes. Huh. I wonder if that means I need to paint one. If I do paint them, I'd have to paint one of those bushes like a red color too. Okay, so let's just pull these out real quick. Okay. And let's run through these minis. So many minis in this game. See, I was going to pay attention to the orientation before I pulled that off, and that thing just fell right out. Oh, these guys do look cool. Okay, so this one kind of looks like that. What do you call it? Is it the Dilophosaurus or something? What do you call that dinosaur that throws the poison on Jurassic Park 1? The one in the beginning that's like spitting the poison out. It kind of has that like spitty frill thing around. And its tongue's sticking out. If you can see that real well. Very cool. Feathery, you know, you got the scales showing up pretty good over here too on the back. This one would look really pretty, I think, if you get that guy painted up. And then this kind of looks like, and they really put, I guess they, so this is good packaging. I'm going to go ahead and show this before I pull this off. This is good packaging. They put this like extra guard here because this tail's a little thin, but it's not that thin. And even with that, they're still being very protective of it. So I like that a lot. I mean, that kind of like almost like a Chinese dragon or something. It's very pretty. So I do want to get this off, and now I'm afraid to break it. Okay. Pretty neat looking though. It's kind of climbing up on that big rock. All right. I don't know if I should even try to put this plastic back on here. Okay, that didn't go on too difficult, without too much difficulty. Okay, that definitely goes that direction. Get down like that. Okay, I got some cards. So we'll flip through some of the weapons real fast. So these are so you got the ones for the big blade, the bow. Looks like you got one feather version of each of these things. So I'm kind of surprised. I'm only seeing, maybe that was in the 5th player expansion. Then it probably had the special ones for those extra 2 classes, because this only has the core versions in it, which I guess is kind of the smart way to do it. There's no need to have to print these off if people aren't getting that 5th player expansion. It's funny, you know, like they call it that 5th player expansion, but it's mostly just like the class expansion, the job class expansion. So here we have, again, the behavior cards, stance cards, all these words that aren't going to matter. Paralyzing spores, something. It says while this card is in your hand, you cannot move. At the end of your action phase, discard this card from your hand. So I guess you'll be dealing with getting clogged up with those in your deck. Yeah. So the spitty, the one that looks like the spitter or whatever dinosaur, he's doing some paralyzing actions. These are, I'm not even going to pull these out. These are just the quest cards, so there's nothing to really look at here unless you wanted to read all those words, which we're not going to want to do that. It's not super exciting until you're right in the midst of an actual campaign. And this is the bit of square cards then that we have in this set. The totemic plate. It's pretty neat. Kind of does look like a totem a little bit. And I guess the head sort of looks like, you know, it's kind of got a somewhat native feel to it with feather headdress. You got the feathered coat. So if you really want to get vibrant and fancy, that's what all these feather themed things are going for. Got the boomerang, the different levels of boomerang, and then there's a couple potions, and it looks like some rings that you can get as items, which kind of makes sense thematically again, since you're kind of going for like flashy feathers and whatnot. All right, and yeah, there's not really too much to see with these bush cards. They're just like kind of a reddish tinted bush. So not sure what those do yet, but we will find out soon. Okay. So I think that's good with that box. We can go ahead and pack that one up. We're kind of getting through them here. We've just got a couple more left. All right, let's do the ice expansion, and we'll finish with the Venom expansion, because that one looks like it's going to be nice and gnarly. All right. Yeah, these would be very pretty display boxes, though, I think. Again, I really like this just white, real clean color of just having the white background and just having these colorful, almost not quite watercolor, almost watercolor monsters here. I mean, maybe they are watercolored. I don't know. They don't look quite watercolored, but they're really pretty, I think. Just the artwork in general. would say somebody needs to engineer game boxes and make them with like little holes in them so that it looks like those holes are supposed to be there, and they give them air holes so that these things just slide off a lot easier. That would be a good idea, I think. So we got the ice expansion here. We'll get to see how many monsters. We got 2 monsters in here. So we've got kind of like a, what's that? The Barioth kind of character here, sorta. Big icy tail. Then we have this kind of, I don't know what you want to call it. It kind of reminds you of like a moose mixed with like a yak or something, and some kind of dinosaur at the same time. But that's the Mamorak, and then you got the Cercage. Very unique names that they give all these monsters. This campaign book's they're called the Northern Stars, which is neat because we just got to see the Northern Lights in Tennessee for the first time the other day. So it just immediately makes me think about that. That was really, really a cool experience. So yeah, not too much to see in here. Looks like the Cercage is the smaller of the characters. The first one that you're going to be dealing with in the quests. Got the ice forges here. Yeah, and so these. So I taken a better look at these two. They don't have the 2 extra classes from the 5th player expansion in there. So that must be why they had all those in the 5th player expansion. Was that they redid them to show the extra weapon types. So I would have just put them all together. Why not? They know people are going to want those ones anyways. So, but yeah, this is the artwork for those cards for the monsters boards. We've got some new terrain types here, which kind of stinks because like they didn't have all of these terrain types and the 3D terrain. They only did the core box terrain. I'm just kind of realizing that too. So there are going to be some of these cardboard tiles that are still going to be showing up on their own. So they'll probably do an extra expansion later where they're like, you can get all the terrain, and then it won't fit in my box anymore. Okay. So this is a very similar style box to the last one. Go ahead and pull those out. Okay. Let's see what these two guys look like. So that bigger one, that kind of mammoth moose is much larger than this one, but this is the Cercage. You know, very reminiscent of like the Nargacuga and the I think it was Barioth, I think that's what it was. It's like the ice tiger thing with the long tail. He's got the big spiky tail. Yeah. Just like a big angry squirrel. He's like, get away from my nuts. And then this guy, oh man, he looks really neat. He's got like, what is this called again? The Mamorak or something like that. He's got icicles hanging all off of his tail. That looks really cool. And then he's got these big kind of horn antlers almost. Kind of like a big yak beard. So he's just kind of covered up in like icy bits. I don't know how well you can see that in that front cam, but like on the tail, there's just like little bits of like icicles hanging all off of them. So that's really neat. I really like that a lot. Otherwise, it's kind of, he's kind of got these weird like sparse areas of detail. Like it almost looks like some kind of weird skin or like veiny kind of stuff on the back. So that's a little odd of a choice. And he's kind of worm-like with his tail otherwise, but I don't know if they're trying to make that look like he's just in general just covered with like a layer of ice that's kind of smoothed everything over right there. Otherwise, he's kind of got some of that coarse hair on the back. But neat nonetheless, though. I was kind of surprised by this big long tail he's got. Okay. Let's go ahead and set that in. All right, so let's flip through the core ice weapons here. The Frostblade. It's totally not Frostmourne. The North Law Bow. And you got the Froljark Hammer. And then the ice. Oh, I like that. They call the sword and shield the Ice Wall. That's a cool name for it. All right. So we got some more of the behavior cards. I'm kind of just seeing if there's any other interesting things like other characters in here. The Mamarok. The Mamarok. It's got 2 A's in it. The Mamarok. And the Circage. Yeah, nothing really too much to see in those. Nothing interesting. These again are just quest cards. It looks like there's no real need to pull those out. All right. And we've got the frost armor. All very nice artwork. Frost helm kind of has that Viking theme to it, kind of Skyrim-esque. Frozen boots. I would like my boots to not be frozen, please. And then we got the wrist bow as an item. Then we have an amulet. Then we've got some special potion. Special shield, maybe? A little dagger. Some other special potions, too, at the end here. All right. Very cool. Okay. Well, we just have one more box to get through. Let's close that guy up. And let's get the Venom expansion out. This is probably the cleanest unboxing video I think I've done because everything's in a box afterwards. It's nice. Usually I make such a big damn mess all over my table here. All right. The Venom expansion. I love glowing green goo on these things. It looks cool. And just immediately the artwork is very provocative and very evoking of toxins and some kind of. This almost looks more nightmarish than the Nightmare expansion did, though. Got some kind of crazy venom worm. So we kind of have a process here now at this point. So we've got two characters here. We've got the Hydar miniature. I'm just reading these rule books. We've got the Hydar, and then we've got the Raikal. So let's get to where we can actually see their pictures a little bit better. And so the Hydar, it kind of looks like he's got moss and stuff growing on him. He's kind of reminiscent of I don't know, maybe a Komodo dragon a little bit. And then the Raikal is just this nasty worm snake thing. Kind of looks like a combination between like a sandworm and a snake, with like poison bubble sacs on his neck. He looks nasty. Nasty. Very cool nonetheless, though. Okay. Campaign book. I'm mostly looking in this campaign book just to see what other monsters show up. So there's the Tormarat. So it seems like all of these have like one character from the core box maybe that are coming in like an additional quest form. We got the Venom Forges here. Really like all of the Venom feel so far to this artwork. All the greens, really bright, vibrant, noxious greens. That's our Hydar again, and our Raikal. Man, that Raikal artwork is very cool. It's some of my favorite. It might be my favorite, just pure artwork of the game. Is this picture of this guy? Really cool. The 5 eyes on each side of the head. Just like spider-like. It's like spider, snake. It's like every toxic thing that they could put together: spider, snake, worm, teethy, talon, poison. Any other adjectives that you can think of that would be poison-like. So we do have some cardboard here that's I don't know, just some toxic kind of swampy goo or something. Again, another one that we're not going to have a 3D miniature for. Looks like they have an expansion to make. The expansion 3D terrain. 3D terrain box number 2. Alright, let's get these guys open. Alright, so here's our Hydar. Hydar. Very cool looking. We've got the big kind of throaty jaw here. And it just kind of looks like he's got like kind of leaves and stuff. The way his scales are growing, they're just kind of looks like he's got sticks almost coming out of him. Like he's just emerging from the swampy moss and undergrowth of the forest. Really like the just the general like stance of the pose of the face, and that big kind of hanging neck too, just reminiscent of like, again, a little bit Komodo dragon-esque, but a little beefy, a little more like muscly looking than a Komodo dragon is. That one's going to be probably a little harder to figure out where it goes. That's probably right. Okay, and then we've got our big dog poop worm. It's a dog turd. Now it's very, very much more cool than a dog turd. Once you look at the face. It just kind of looks like a big poop on the side though. But it's kind of a smoothed over, kind of worm-like snake. You can see the scales pretty decently. Really love the face of this thing. I think that's just so gnarly looking, and I kind of hate and love these big bulbous sacs on the side of the neck. I'm going to show this up in the front. So there's that face that's just got all those teeth, and then those big globby kind of sacks on the edges. It looks like it kind of makes my skin crawl, but I kind of love it at the same time. It's really cool. And he's got some sticks coming out that he's kind of hanging out around. Very neat. That's definitely one of my favorite sculpts and just artwork in general. Is this character here, which is the Rykal. Very neat. How the heck that was sitting? I think I got those in right. Very cool. Can almost get these in the way they're supposed to go. There they are. Alright, so we've got some cards to go through, and then we're just about done here. Alright, so let's get the boring stuff out of the way for a moment, real quick. See if we see anything else interesting in these stacks of cards here. Kind of more of what we're expecting, just stance cards, behavior cards, Venom. So this card can only be used to generate stamina. When you discard this card from your hand, suffer damage equal to your weapon level. At least you get stamina with your Venom. Hit the Venom sacks. It's one of the little quest goals there as you're attacking the monster, the Rykal. Yeah, quite a bit of Venom cards. And you got a couple other maybe special cards here too. I don't want to really look at them too hard because I kind of want them to be a little bit of a surprise for myself when I go to fight these guys. Yeah, nothing too eventful out of those. We'll go ahead and look at these weapon cards real quick. They're probably going to be the neatest cards to look at here. So we've got the Cobra, big great sword, and then we got the Spider Needle. It's like the Samick Spider recurve bow. I guess that's not technically a recurve though. The Dragonbane Hammer. These, I mean, man, I don't know what it is I love about maybe it's just the green theme of this artwork. But I really like it a lot. It's very cool. And the Serpent Shield. Yeah, I like that. I love this hammer for some reason. I don't know why. It's just that big green crystal on it. And then that Serpent Shield looks really cool once you get to level 3. It gets an extra 2 serpent heads on it. And the big gem in the middle. Very cool. I like that a lot. Alright, so we've got quest cards. Nothing special with those. We've got one more pack of armor and such. Iron Leaf armor. Iron Leaf helm. Oh man, I just want to be covered in all this poison equipment. This stuff just looks cool. I don't tend to necessarily focus on poison in most games, but I just love the artwork for this. The Blood Seeker, little dagger. You know, we got the black spin. It's kind of like a little kind of boomerang looking thing. And beyond that, we got the Dagger Heart, Serpent Belt, the Void Stare Amulet. Some of these cards are a little stuck together in the back, and then we got some special potions as well. Very, very neat. I really, really dig this. This is probably my favorite, just on looks from the expansions I've seen so far. I really like it. So I'm not gonna, let's see, well, let's go ahead and just pack these last few things back in here, since we did it with the rest of it. And I think that about covers it. So we've got quite a bit of content to go through. If I can even get this back together. Quite a bit of content to go through, and really looking forward to seeing how well I can jam all this stuff together. I'm going to kind of hate getting rid of these expansion boxes at the end, but I just don't have room for all this stuff, so I've got to get it condensed down. Man, it's I immediately, without going into too much depth of the game itself, I immediately feel so much better about having this over Monster Hunter World, just on my initial impressions of everything, the bit that I've played so far. I'm so glad I don't still have Monster Hunter World. I did sell it. If you do have Monster Hunter World, don't feel like it's a bad thing to have, especially if you have the space. I just don't have a ton of space. If I had the space, I probably actually would have kept that, just because I love that IP so much. But I love the idea too that I'm going to be able to fit this all into one big box, where there was just no way to do that with Monster Hunter World. You had to have at least 2 boxes to fit that stuff together in. Plus, you had to have extra you basically had to just keep all the boxes to hold all of the characters. These boxes are the miniatures are quite a bit smaller in general. I mean, like, relatively smaller than the Monster Hunter World ones are. I mean, there are maybe some of the smallest of the Monster Hunter World ones are going to be comparable to these, but a much more manageable size, even considering the huge box that Primal has as the core box. But anyways, I'm glad to finally get it all out and be able to get my hands on it now, and I'm glad I got to get it on camera and show you guys. So thanks so much for sticking through. If you watch this whole second part video, then God, you're a champ. To get through that much unboxing, it's a lot to unbox. I like to give the full experience during an unboxing though too, where I'm not cutting too much. So this is kind of what you're expecting to go through whenever you're going through any of these big games like this. So if you enjoy this kind of content, a couple of those little free clicks on the screen, it really helps support out channels like mine. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate when you do. But as always, guys, do what is right for you. I hope you enjoy this video. I hope that if you are, if you're getting Primal in, I hope that, you've already got your first box in. I hope the second box is arriving at your doorstep as we speak. So again, guys, thank you so much. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening. I will see you on the next video, and hopefully on the next Primal video, because I'm looking forward to doing a little bit more content over this. So again, thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.